What's going on, everybody? Hope you are having a wonderful week so far. Podcast time. So, as some of you know, I am from Bristol or from the Bristol area, and there is a venue in Bristol that has been going 20 odd years. I think it's that long, maybe less. I don't know. I should probably fact check myself, but I'm not going to. So, fuck it. Let's just keep going. Motion. Motion is an iconic Bristol venue. And I've played Motion many times. I've thrown parties in Motion, but I've also been to Motion plenty of times, and it's a very special venue to me and to a lot of people in the southwest of England, but also as a part of British electronic music. It is a huge player in the game of the music industry. So I thought I would treat you all with getting Derrick on. And Travis is the head booker at Motion. So he literally is the person that makes sure that there is a party, one party or two party or three parties every single week. He books all the artists or works with brands that book the artists. And I think he does a lot more than that. He also is he deals with a lot of the branding and a lot of the visualization and kind of what you see as a customer of what Motion puts out. He's a lovely guy. He's been working at the venue for 10 years, started his way up from the bottom, from being a barman, and then now pretty much running the show. Lovely guy. And I just really wanted to kind of get a different perspective on the podcast with what it's like to be a booker and work behind the scenes in how a club runs. So, without further ado, Derrick. Derrick, what's cooking, man?
How's it going, mate? You well?
Yeah, I'm really good. How's Bristol? How are you?
Bristol's good. Weather's okay today, but it's kind of taken a bit of a turn for the worse. The weather is slowly shaping up to the winter season, which in Bristol isn't the nicest, shall we say, as you are probably fully aware.
I've heard autumn is in full effect right now.
Yes. Yeah. So where are you right now?
I'm in Detroit.
Oh, how is it there?
It's still sweaty as fuck, but it's slowly cooling down. In my studio here, I don't have air conditioning, so I have this like fuck off fan that no one can see right behind me. So I
can't hear it. So that's
good. It's really good. I don't know how the mic doesn't pick it up. It's probably a shit mic, but it's great. So I'm happy. It's always hilarious how a podcast starts, or these podcasts start with an English person, because we always talk about the weather every time.
It literally is. Yeah, I bet.
Every time. But yeah, man, how's your summer been?
Honestly, it's been really cool. It's been really nice. Lot of parties on. I've been at club a lot. Not been to many festivals.
No.
But I've been at club most weekends.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been really good, mate. It's been a very different summer compared to probably any summer we've ever had.
Yeah.
In the club for sure. With just, the amount of festivals on, the amount of like saturation of that, and how hard it is to sometimes sort of lock stuff in. With just how busy everybody is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I think the start of the year we're like, oh, you're back to normal, and it's not quite normal. But everybody's just, everybody's working at like 200 miles per hour compared to 100 miles per hour.
It's really funny because I just did a conversation with Mark Knight, and he's like, it's really interesting to see how he has gone completely the opposite to everybody else, and he's like, no, I'm making sure that I don't do that. And I completely changed my whole touring schedule up. And obviously he's got other businesses, and touring as a label is his main income, and he's made it like that. But like, it's really interesting how he has swapped it. And but everybody else I spoke to have spoken to is just like fucking balls to the walls, just working as hard.
I think it's that choice, isn't it? I guess in a little bit as a DJ, when you can be like, actually, no, I'm going to stop doing this, stop doing that.
Yeah.
But I think if you're behind the scenes and you're either looking after artists, looking after a club, or whatever it might be, you are just working double time.
Yeah.
Especially probably a lack of staff across the board.
Yeah.
It's very much even on bars. For us here, it's stuff like that as well. All got to pick up that slack.
Yeah.
Which is good, but also is pretty relentless. Yeah, a friend of mine's kind of took that approach as well. He's a videographer, and he was flat before pandemic, and now he's just like, no, I'm just going to take it easy. I'm just gonna, pick and choose the right jobs, make sure they're kind of on key of what my brand kind of is, and that's a really good approach. But some of us can't quite do that.
I think a lot of people can't necessarily do that to a certain extent. I know, maybe I could if I wanted to, but I don't necessarily want to. So I guess I'm in a situation that I'm fortunate where I don't have to do that. But yeah, I guess when you're working in a business that provides a service to the public, it has to keep going and double down.
Yes.
I guess before we even start, let's actually talk about what you do. I know I'm gonna do an intro and everything and tell everyone what you do, but what do you do?
So I lead all the bookings for motion, pretty much all the kind of in-house, house, techno, disco ones, as well as controlling diary for any external bookings.
Mm-hmm.
So as you are fully aware, drum and bass is huge in Bristol.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't deal with that fully in-house, but we have a brand who kind of deal with that. So I kind of diary manage that and make sure they happen, and we have a very diverse, schedule for sure.
Yeah.
Because all the drum bass probably work every weekend. I don't really want that in the diary.
Yeah.
So it's picking and choosing the right ones that go in. Same with external. They come to me. I kind of go, I'm working on this. So it's kind of fitting the right ones in. So I kind of oversee the whole diary venue side of it, as well as working quite closely with the venue managers to make sure the shows look and sound good with my production team.
Yeah. How? Also, for anybody that's listening that hasn't heard of motion, that probably isn't necessarily from England and understands the level of what motion is at in the clubbing scene, motion has been, how long has it been going now?
So I remember it. So I started 10 years ago. So I think it's 19 years now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I believe it's been, it's from a long old history of, raving under a skate park. You know what I mean? That's where it started. It's in the skate park. So then, each year it kind of multiplied and changed. And then, it's a full multi-venue club with live next door as well, with our sister venue, Marble Factory, which, we have a live guy holder that bring in all the live acts as well. So it's kind of each year is kind of multiplied to this beast in the Southwest, really. That's just controls, or every artist wants to come to Southwest. Okay, it's motion. Motion. Every artist who do the UK tours want to play motion.
Yeah, I think it's not necessarily just Southwest as well. I think it's the whole of Great Britain. It's one of the longest and strongest kind of clubs that has been around for that long.
Yeah, obviously we have Lakota, which is alongside Bristol as well, but that kind of has a different kind of heart of motion with heart of Bristol. With them, obviously it's very different, but in the sense of big scale, big production, destination club, it is motion.
Yeah, it's huge. It's when did it get voted number one ever?
Yeah, so we were number one in the DJ Mag Best of British, which I believe was 2019, and we came in at 20th in the top 100 clubs this year, which was quite a stressful campaign to put together because we were a little bit late on the mark with it, but we just held out for all the obviously supportive.
I think your internet's really
vote for us.
I think your internet's really bad.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with it, but you keep going in and out.
I am tethering. That might be an issue.
That's definitely the issue. And we are back with good internet. I can't even remember what we're talking about.
No, neither do I. I'm off then. See
you later. Good podcast. I don't think it's 6 minutes. Shortest podcast ever. Yeah, so how's the summer been? Now we've got out of the way of what you do, we can just talk normally. How's the summer been? How have you found it?
It's been difficult, mate, to be honest. It has been good. It has its pros and cons. Summer in Bristol was wonderful. But I think, we kind of touched briefly on earlier, so many festivals,
Yeah.
which is cool. But I think for me, it's, you know, when there's so many festivals, a lot of people come to the club or go out clubbing, kind of don't kind of put it to the back of their heads a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I'm going to this festival. I got to pay for Glastonbury, that's 250 quid. I'm going to Lost Village. I'm going here. I'm going here. And kind of going just to a club to kind of like, nah, I'm going to festival next week.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to festival this week. So it's kind of been pushed back slightly, and it's not really fresh in people's heads.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of downfall with this summer a little bit, you know, and that's the main issue, I think, with it. So people are just like, I'll wait until winter for the clubs.
Yeah, yeah.
So a lot of the kind of shows I've done have kind of been a bit more, not so much low budget, I wouldn't say that at all, but kind of one room shows, so it could be sort of moved around a little bit, and not massive high profile shows. So, you know, it kind of saves the club a little bit, because obviously we still got to put shows on.
Well, you still have to earn money.
Exactly. And, you know, being closed isn't really an option with sort of the overheads and, you know, amount of staff you've got on board, salaries, bar staff, whatever it be. So we constantly got to be putting on shows, really, and making sure, you know, we have a turnover of an income for sure.
Yeah, it must be crazy. I've never really thought of that with like venues like Motion, where it's such a big venue as well. I know you can scale pretty well in that venue, but also like when you book a show and you're expecting 1,000 people and you get 200 people, that's a massive dent in the budget. Like,
yeah. And obviously, as you probably are aware as well, how ticket sales are actually going right now, or have done and still are.
Yeah.
You know, the late buys are fucking scary. You know, as a promoter, you're like literally, like you're like Martin, my director's like, sort of tickets. I was like, we get there. We've done everything. We've got billboards, we've got marketing, we've got this, we've got paid ads. You know, we're doing everything we possibly. We're chucking the kitchen sink in the shows.
Yeah.
To try and get them over the line. And then they had a show, we sell 800 tickets.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, it's fine. But, you know, to that getting to that point is really nerve-wracking.
It's really interesting how the scene's changed from COVID to now, and how people's buying habits have changed completely.
I think for me, when COVID kind of, we came out of it slightly, it was quite hard to find out what people actually wanted to go to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like Bristol obviously still has a very strong drum and bass connection. But when I'm booking house and techno, it's like, what are people listening to now? What have they been listening to? You know, a lot of people I know have kind of completely gone off house music and are listening to bands again because they've listened to bands in lockdown.
Yeah.
So for me, and also, especially Bristol being a very big student city, it's when there's no students around, you've got to try and cater for the locals or whatever it be, and making sure you're hitting. Well, you've got to try. A lot of the shows are kind of try and narrow in a way of being like, cool, let's do shapeshifters because it might be a bit of an older crowd. And, you know, that kind of, you kind of lean on those ones a little bit more.
But I think what I noticed the most about coming out of lockdown is the new generation listening to music. And like, realistically, let's be honest, like, how old are you?
28.
Yeah. So like, you're a couple years younger than me, but like, we're still not down with the kids, right?
No. So like, we're really not.
We're not seeing what the kids are listening to as of a promoter, and it's like although we should be, but it's just not our generation, if you know what I mean. We're not like, I was talking to my brother, this will make you laugh. I spoke to my family about the Motion show that I don't know if we're allowed to talk about, but whatever.
Not yet.
Yeah, I might be playing Motion at some point. Anyway, and he called me and was like, yeah, like, we all want to come, like, we'll have a good time, but is there anywhere where we can chill? Because it's like, we're all old now. I was like, yeah, like, I'm sure there is. And he's like, yeah, I feel really old when I go out now. And I'm like, well, you are old. And then he's got a son and a daughter. His son,
how old is he?
He's 42.
Okay.
And his son's 10 and his daughter's 7. And I was like, you do realize, like, Oliver and Phoebe are closer to the age of going out than we are.
Yeah, that's quite a realization, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shit.
I know. Yeah. And it's like, okay, how does that affect you when you're booking though? And when you're actually like because realistically, like, without diminishing your role, but like, you're technically a salesman, right? You create something to then sell to people.
Yeah, exactly.
But how do you approach that when booking venues?
I think for me, it's very much trying to keep your ear to the ground as much as possible, in a sense of what is hot right now. What are the kids listening to? And you kind of see it through student brands in Bristol. You kind of every September to Christmas, whatever it be, you see this new brand that pop up who's hot, who's doing good bookings, and then you kind of just you go out and like don't go out as much as I used to, obviously, because obviously I didn't really want to be out till 4 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday night. But yeah, it's about just seeing what's hot, and it's keeping very much like the Radio 1 or whatever it might be. And that's kind of how I've approached a lot of them, being like, who is caught now? Left System, okay, well, let's book it in. Lies Rose, okay, let's book it in. And you're kind of picking those kind of easy ones in a way, but it's what people want to go see, and that's going to draw them kind of very most crowd. And it is a business. We all love doing what we need to do, but I still need to get people through the door and make sure everything's popping and everything's running really well.
Well, I think there's also that kind of, how do you take your ego out of it and book what you want to book, but then also you have to take your ego out of it and go, no, actually we need to book what sells. Yeah,
of course. Yeah, that's kind of sometimes a tough thing when you've got to book the kind of the ones that kind of do the numbers. And I think that's quite hard when you're holding a whole diary and you put in certain shows, you're like, don't really like this genre or this brand or this sound, but there's a market there for it and people want to see it. And you kind of, I don't really, you just get away. You just kind of go with it and go, yeah, cool. Well, we need this in. It feels a really nice day. It feels this massive number of people actually want to see this genre or this artist. And you kind of, I don't think ego is so much a big thing about it. It's kind of just being like, it is kind of what you need to do.
Yeah, totally. I guess also, I think, ego is the wrong word for it. Preference, I guess.
But I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Exactly. Very much if it was my preference.
Yeah.
For what I wanted to book, I don't think my director like that, first of all, because it will just be stuff that, Bristol, as you probably fully as well, Bristol is quite a hard city.
Yeah.
For anything kind of new or different, for example, like a Dixon show. I love to be Dixon, want it in the club. But from past history doing it, it's not the strongest show to do.
Yeah.
And Bristol, it takes quite a while to build a certain sound, and a certain genre might be. Anyways, it's quite a costly show to put on.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that we do it, but we might lose a bit of money, but next year it might be better, or it might not be better, it might be the same.
Yeah,
so it's a risky one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Martin's down my case going, "You sure you want to do this again?" Honestly, it worked.
Yeah, I guess it's like also keeping the Motion name at the forefront as well, because I don't know about you, but for me, like, Motion has always had this like presence in the market, not just for house or not just for house or techno, but like for everything in Bristol. But it's always been like the coolest of that, and it's been able to put the coolest parties on.
Yeah.
How do you keep that balance of like keeping it cool, but then also keeping it making money? Because we all know that cool doesn't always make money.
Exactly. No, it fully doesn't. Again, it is kind of just filling those gaps with those kind of big sellers, I guess.
Yeah.
And, those ones that you're going to cost a lot of money, but you'll get a good reward from it, kind of low risk, high reward. And then you kind of, not every show can make money. That's business. Any business, not everything's going to make you money.
Yeah.
So it's, you kind of chuck in those cooler ones to make, the trendy kids in Bristol happy.
Yeah.
And then that's ones that I kind of like doing because they are the cooler ones to be involved with.
Are you calling yourself cool and trendy?
No, actually, no, not. Retract that. But it's back in the day when we had like Just Jack, everyone wanted to go Just Jack.
Yeah.
I'm sure you remember Just Jack.
Yeah.
It was like the coolest party in town.
Yeah, they would never book me, the fuckers.
Well, we're not calling trendy though.
No, I'm not. I never have been. Don't worry.
You mix up, and that's when I kind of like to be like, okay, cool. We've got to chuck this cool show in, so you kind of book something a bit more obscure, something a bit cooler, or the sound you're trying to build, I guess.
Yeah.
For example, you chuck a Hooney show over Young Marco, whatever it be, and and they usually do well anyway.
Yeah.
But is there a bit more on a different side of house than you would do a Camel Fat, for example?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's it must be a really interesting balancing act, because you are a club and you have to give what the people want at the end of the day.
It is, it's really is looking at a diary and kind of seeing what goes well together.
Yeah.
And, especially in Bristol, you can't just have the same genre week after week.
Yeah.
I couldn't book, for example, MK, and then week afterwards I got patched off in, or whatever it might be. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of, you've got to make sure they're spread out nicely.
Yeah.
And that's usually the biggest challenge. I've been like, I need to fill a date, but I can't put this genre in or this genre in because I got this each side.
Yeah.
And you just try and find that a curveball show or a different genre to kind of make sure it fits nicely in the diary.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, people don't, I obviously want people to give options, be like, what do I want to go to? But not so much like, I can't go to this, can't go to this.
Yeah, yeah.
But if they're a month apart, you go, yeah, I could, both of them.
You could do both, yeah. How have you found... Go on, carry on. No, go on.
No, go on.
No, go on.
Go on.
Go on.
British people, aren't we?
Yeah. You've got a cup of tea with you.
So polite.
Yeah. How have you found that with the whole ticket sale thing? I want to go back to that a little bit because Motion is very much a pre-sale club. It's not really a walk-up club. People, if you live in Bristol, if you know Motion, it's not a high street club. You have to travel to it. You have to visit to it.
Exactly.
How has that been with tickets? Are you literally seeing like a huge influx within like a couple of hours pre-show, or are you finding more people are buying at the door?
It's as you know, Motion is a destination club.
Yeah.
In the middle of an industrial estate. To get there, you get an Uber. You can walk, obviously, but that's the majority. You Uber there or you walk there, and we don't really get much walk up. So it is, a lot of the shows we've done this summer, whether we've done like a pre-sale and, or a launch, you see a big influx on the launch.
Yeah.
And, seeing, maybe like 30% on launch. And then it just ticks along.
Yeah.
Slowly, 80 a week, or, it might be. And then the week of the show, the team we work with who do my paid media know this as well, because they've worked across many other clubs as well. You save majority of the budget for that last week, I guess.
Yeah.
And then you just see those tickets fly on that week, from like Wednesday, Tuesday onwards. You just see them pop, and it's pretty mad to see. And even on day of the show, like for example, I had a few show on 12 weekends ago, and I left tickets running because my ticket scanners, I keep them running, they automatically sync.
Yeah.
And you see like doors open at 1, and I did like 70 tickets between 1 and 2 p.m.
Yeah.
And there's people, the doors are open, and people outside the pub, where it might be going, should we have Motion?
Yeah.
And it's kind of, not people don't really walk to Motion to check the door, because
no, not at all.
It's quite far.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't want to pay £8 for an Uber to go, oh, we're sold out, or there's no tickets on the door. So a lot of really last minute sales.
I never even thought about that actually as well, of people not buying on the door because it's a destination place and not expecting it.
You get some. Usually it's a later one, like midnight they walk through after being on the booze a bit longer. But
to Motion.
Just stumble to Motion.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But it is destination. It's such a destination club, and that's why people don't do that. I mean, you won't walk 20 minutes to go somewhere and go, oh, you can't get it.
Yeah, man, that must be so stressful. Those ticket sales.
Yeah, it is. It really is. It's like I said, it's so different to what
it was.
I know.
Yeah.
Or what it was. You know what I mean? It was very much, you sell it before.
Yeah.
Drum and bass does in the city, of course, and even that's sometimes a bit of a struggle in the city right now. With sort of, usually like 6-7 sold out shows. You're like, oh, Sam, not worry about anything.
Yeah, that's mad.
But I'd love to go back to the times just after COVID when everything was at hotcakes. But then that's like not realistic time, and it was anything you kind of put out was just short, and it was great.
But also, that's the
real
thing is like it's not real, and with inflation and with how costs have gone up, especially in the UK, with like just general living has gone mental through the roof. Are you noticing like an effect on that as well with people trying to save money? Because for me, I still think people want to rave. I still think people want to escape and kind of get out of that rigmarole of like expensive life and shit like that. They're happy to spend 20 quid on a ticket to get and party and be with their friends. But I feel like there's still a market of people that are just like, okay, we need to be sensible.
But I think that's where a lot of late sales come from. Where people are going like, oh, the day before, oh, I can afford to go out.
Yeah.
even if it's to the pub,
Totally.
you go, oh, if I budgeted this week and I go, oh, I got £6 left,
Mm.
I can go to mission, I can go out clubbing, or I can go to the pub, I can do this. So I think that's why late sales are kind of coming as well.
Yeah.
With a lot of people actually worried about money until last minute and going, yeah, I can afford that. Let's do it.
It's really interesting because there's markets over here, like San Francisco used to be a market pre-COVID where you would sell a lot of tickets beforehand, But what people would do is San Francisco also had the biggest market for no-shows of ticket sales, because what people would do, they'd buy 2 tickets for a night and then work out what they wanted to do on the night.
Yeah.
And because people had so much fucking money there, and they would just chuck money away. And now,
but that's kind of what you're really seeing as well, with a lot of late like drop-offs. It's a bit different now. I think straight after COVID, there's a lot of drop-offs because people are buying it and then either worried about going to a club, or whatever it might be. And drop-offs were, we're seeing like 40%,
which is
a lot. Because how I run all my P&Ls, we base it on bar as well.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And if 40% of people don't show up, our bars do take a hit
massively. Yeah,
that pays the rent, that pays the bar staff, that pays me. You know what I mean? So, but then now a lot of late buys, you're seeing a lot of those actually arriving because they're buying on the day or day before and going, I'm going out. So that's kind of it's like there's like kind of pros and cons to it, I guess late buys, people, those people will come.
Yeah.
Which is good to know, and the bars do get those people in, and they're spending money, which is what we need.
Definitely.
But yeah, definitely pre-COVID, like straight after COVID, it was strange because obviously you'd sell out, but then
no one would come.
Like half the club would be empty. You're like, oh right, this is strange. And of course, we got ticket money. Great, that's obviously wonderful. But like, it's the bars as well, which we anticipate.
Well, I think, I guess a lot of people don't think about that, but like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty much sure the bar is where you make more of your money than the actual tickets, right?
100%. Yeah. So a lot of how I work, a lot of my shows is kind of the ticket revenue covers the artist fees.
What's the average sale of like? I know it depends on each night because of the clientele, but what is the average for you guys? On like
for tickets?
No, for like spend on bar.
Spend per head. It really does depend what sort of show it is, but we see around like £50 per head.
50 or 15?
15, 1-5.
Yeah, I was gonna say 50 is fucking high.
Yeah,
where are you?
Yeah, like 15 to 20. The day party you see a lot more because people are drinking a lot more.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So yeah, that's how we base a lot of our costs on.
Yeah.
And if the bar isn't as successful as we expect it to, that's a bit of a loss for us.
Yeah.
And that's our salaries, that's our bar staff, that's our cleaner, that's our lighting, that's our energy.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people forget how much it actually costs to run a club and how people are involved.
Let's talk about it then. People need to know.
Yeah, so like obviously I think when people know you're in a club or you run a club, you've got loads of money.
Yeah.
You've got your can of beer is £5, you must be making loads of money.
Yeah.
But in a day we've also got, our office is quite small now, I guess, salary wise, but you've got all those overheads as well. You've got 6-7 people in the office on salary.
Yeah.
You've got 50 security guards for a show, 50 bar staff for a show, cleaners, production team, and all those costs people do forget about.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of like daunting thing when people go, oh, you're fine, clubs are fine. When it's really not. And I think especially with especially when I want to try and lower the ticket prices.
Yeah.
For people to come to the club, and if people can't afford to come to the club, I want it to be cheaper for them.
Yeah.
But with overheads being so expensive, it's really tough to lower anything on my end, especially if artist fees kind of remain the same.
Yeah.
When I want to lower the fee of tickets, I can't if the artist fees stay at 10, 15, 20k.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the tough thing, is just try and show people that, and people are expensive, isn't it? But I need to try and I do need to cover my overheads at least.
Well, I think also people forget, like, especially what's going on in the UK, because it's not really hit America that hard, like the whole energy cost thing. But like just to open the venue with the amount of energy and keep it going, like you have to keep those fridges going. You have to like keep everything on. You have to keep the lights on. You have to have the power on. Like it's all a lot. And also you're in a fucking warehouse. Like it's not a cozy little club at all.
It wasn't built as a club. You know what I
No.
mean? It was a well, before it was a skate park, it was actually a marble factory and then like a coke house. Well, that was on the water. So it is an empty warehouse.
Yeah.
Which in the winter is absolutely freezing, and in the summer it's roasting in there. It's it can be quite uncomfortable sometimes, especially like when you have 600 people in that club. It is warm. We got ventilation in and out, but again, that isn't cheap to run.
No, none of it is. And I think like Motion's always been really fair with prices for me personally. Like drinks are always reasonably fair, and it's not like taking the piss where you go to like some places and you're not getting change out of 20 quid for a drink, which is so weird because it's so normal nowadays in so many venues. Who kind of sets all of that?
So it's kind of my like bar manager, my venue manager. I kind of not so much have a big say, but it gets floated up in the office and they go, "We want up the prices." I'm like, "Okay, what do you want to go to?" Because I obviously want to make it fair for everybody. But again, it's a destination club. People expected to pay a little bit more at a destination club. I feel.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of what, especially with how the big profile of artists we bring in, those prices need to be kind of similar to whatever clubs are doing as well.
Yeah.
But I did see a review the other day on maybe like a Google review, and someone was like, "Great music, amazing sound system, incredible atmosphere, security guys are lovely. Water was £4." I was like, "Water's not £4."
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know where that came from. I was like, "Are you lying here or I don't know." I was like, "This isn't correct. Water isn't £2, £4. It's £2."
Yeah. Which £2 is so cheap for water.
Yeah. Right.
Like you pay £2 for a bottle of water in a petrol station.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is mad. You go to Ibiza and you're paying like €15 for a bottle of water that's half the size.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, it's literally tiny one like this.
Stingy fuckers.
I'm off for next week, so don't.
Are you going?
Too much. Yes.
Where?
I'm going next week.
That's cool. I'm there the week after actually.
It's a shame.
What are you doing out there?
So actually, I'm kind of taking it quite chilled. Going out with Sophie, my girlfriend.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go to Solid Grooves.
Yeah.
Which we've got nice. Local Dice is playing, and he's actually one of the acts I've tried to get all year.
Really?
Tried to get Dice in for a long time, and it's always kind of fallen apart a little bit. He's been on holiday with his family. I'm like, I'll fly you on holiday with your family if you want. It's fine. Yeah. But he had to be with his family to fly off with. I understand. And then going to go to El Row,
nice.
Andalusia.
Which
is always fun.
Have you done El Row in Bristol?
Yeah, so we did one previously when Rag was kind of doing the El Row UK stuff. And that's actually when I started. I was working for El Row UK for a little bit as well.
Yeah.
I was doing all of the logistics, which was incredible at the time. It's so much fun.
It's crazy.
Being a part of that team. They're such a lovely and friendly team.
Yeah. Yeah, they're amazing. I started playing for them over like post lockdown. And they're so nice to work with. It's fucking such.
It was great. Yeah, I remember. I flew out to Barcelona, and Della Swing picked me up in his car from the airport, and then dropped me to the office, and it was great. Like we went to this went out for lunch to this like obviously very very Spanish sort of your nan's kitchen sort of vibes. Like all in Spanish.
Yeah.
Like Victor had to translate all of it to me.
Yeah.
But honestly, they're such a nice like group, family feeling people. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's really important that, isn't it? I guess they've just created a community over the years and been able to just keep that going and going and going. And I really like their motto. And I was talking to Victor about it, and they were like, obviously we make money and we have to keep going, and we've got people to pay.
Which is fine, right?
But it's like also Juan, the guy that owns it now, that took it on from his parents and all of that, like their motto is that they make money on certain shows and then they know that they're going to lose money on every other show. And those money-making shows, they make good money on and enough money to pay for the rest of the year. But the rest of the shows that they put on, they have to make sure that the experience for the goer of the club is like
Yeah.
best experience they've ever had.
Yeah.
And they will
That's
spunk
all it
so
was.
much money. Yeah, it's fucking
That's
crazy.
all it was when I was working for this guys. I did all the UK stuff. So I was going free freight, doing the shows in free freight.
Yeah.
We did like a rowathon at Village Underground, like 3 days.
Yeah.
3 days straight sort of thing at Village Underground. And it was just always just fun. I remember being like 3 must have been at maybe like 3 p.m. sort of things. I was out stays in, and Victor was like, "Why haven't you got a beer in your hand?" I was like, "When working," he's like, "Get a beer." And it's just like such like good attitude to be like, mate, still have fun. You're like you're working, but you still enjoy yourself.
Yeah, it's so important. I think also the Spanish culture compared to the British culture is so different with that.
Yeah, definitely. It really is.
It's interesting though, because our drinking culture is very chill compared to most countries. Like everyone had any excuse to have a beer or get drunk is a good excuse, right? Like the sun's out, quit work.
But I just think the British culture is very different, and we don't know how to drink. We know how to drink, but in the sense of like we don't know when to stop to drink.
We know how to drink well. It just keeps going.
Yeah. But I remember I went to I was quite privileged. I went to Trow Closing in Amsterdam, and that was the most amazing club ever. Yeah. So amazing. And I remember I was in there for 24 hours, quite a long time, and I remember seeing like a stall selling like pineapple on the stick and fruit, and I kind of I was maybe like 21 at the time. I was quite baffled by it. I was like, why is that here?
Yeah.
But it's because Europeans know how to party well.
Yeah, really well.
In the sense of actually having a break, having hydrating, having some fruit. Whereas the Brits kind of don't. It's kind of, I love a lager, I've never lager, sort of thing.
Well, I think that's something that you guys have done at Motion pretty well as well, is like, they're going to be long nights. So you put food out and
exactly.
You give a bit more, you give a chill out area, and you give
that's what we focus on quite a lot this side of the year anyway, is kind of, especially for Q4 onwards, is transforming one of the spaces, the cave, into more of a seating chill out area, which is a bit nicer, just a nice space for you to relax in. It's got a bar in there as well and a DJ booth, but it's used more as like a walkthrough.
Yeah.
So we kind of use that space. You've got a photo booth in there, a bit of a chill out space, nice seating.
Yeah.
So people can just break off from partying and have a chat, have a chill, whatever it be. And kind of just really use like space for that. Just actually, I've had enough for 5 minutes, and we can sit down.
Which I think is really nice. It's about creating different atmospheres. Like, not everybody that goes to the club wants to necessarily fucking pop Gurners and rave their tits off all night, if you know what I mean. People want to like enjoy the experience and like sit down and go with their friends. And some of the times they haven't seen their friends for a couple of weeks, and they want to catch up and do all of that. And I think it's changing. I think the whole club thing is, because there always used to be a chill out room, always.
Yeah.
Like from like me growing up playing shows, there was always a chill out room, and there was always like multi-genre rooms. To be fair, it was always like drum and bass in one night, hardcore in the other night, and techno in another room. And then there'd be a chill out room, which I always really liked, but it seemed to have kind of disappeared for a while. And now it seems to come back a little bit.
Yeah, I think, with Motion, as you've been there many times and people haven't been there, it's such a massive complex.
Yeah.
It's such a big space with, 4, 5 rooms indoors with, 3 amazing outdoor spaces.
Yeah.
We really utilize those spaces as chill out smoking areas, which is, they're always open for, the food or seating outside as well, which I think is really key. And, they're always busy. I mean, it's nice to make sure people have the opportunity to just go outside and get the fresh air and have a cigarette or just catch up with a friend, like you said.
Yeah. Does that help you with capacity as well? Because it's spreading people out. Yeah,
to an extent. It definitely helps with kind of just having those rooms open. If we have sort of the tunnel cave space open, just utilize that space a bit more, because that's like a joint capacity. And when you sort of sell a show, not everybody's going to be in that main room anyway.
Yeah. That's cool. Talking about the food, I was just remembered Space in Miami. They're making some insane food. They do like cheese toasties with caviar.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's
How
like
much is that setting you back?
another level of shit. I don't know. I've never bought it. But they do like ice creams and stuff. Like their hospitality is. Have you ever been?
No,
It's the
I've
one.
never been stateside.
It's. Have you not? Oh
No, I
man,
haven't.
it's the one place that I would tell everybody to go to for in America club wise. It's hands down like there's not many venues you can and this is no disrespect to America, but there's not many venues that you can't get anywhere else in the world over
Yeah.
here. But Space is definitely one of the best in the world, and the way over the years they've evolved, it's very similar to how you guys have evolved, where you add. It's not the same as what it was when it opened, which I think a lot of venues do. What happens is venues that don't last is that they don't evolve over the years and don't kind of add more things in and give more people. Like I remember when the toilets at Motion were Portaloos,
Yeah.
and now where they're at like when I went back to Motion, I hadn't been to Motion for like 2-3 years, and it was like the time of when the toilets were put in. I was like, Jesus Christ, this is luxury.
Yeah, that's the good thing about Motion in the sense of, I remember like we were getting his work done, and I remember Dan was in the club, and I was kind of taking him from one place to the other. He's like, this is just changed so much.
Yeah.
And I think for me, it's it changed. I see it change every day or every week. But when you take someone new, when you take someone back there who's been a year ago or 2 years ago, they go, "Whoa, this changed, this changed, this changed," and it is forever evolving, which is really special about that place.
Yeah,
I probably don't see it myself because, like I said, I'm always in that space. But from a customer who hasn't been for 6 months or a year, come back, and go, "Shit, this has changed a lot."
massively.
And you go, "What this is changed? What's this space?
Yeah.
This room's open now."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like when we launched like the Marble Factory bigger space, when we had like Chemical Brothers open up. Chemical Brothers are sound checking, and we're still welding the staircase on. You know what I mean? It's like it's constantly evolving, and we're constantly just doing different things. And now we've got the Live Diary guys, Ghostwriter doing all the live stuff. We've put so much time and effort into making sure it's suitable for bands, like big touring bands with kitchen, toilets, really nice green rooms, dressing rooms for them. So it is forever evolving to something bigger and better.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing is as a venue for you, like for you to grow bigger and better and get bigger acts, and which then attracts more people or a different crowd, right? Like and your venue becomes multi-genre and you're attracting everyone from a city rather than just the ravers. Like you have to make things nicer, right? And like not your parents don't want to go see an older band in a shitty warehouse. They want to go somewhere nice.
Yeah, and it's very much we've evolved with that sort of very much like an older crowd as well, especially the live band stuff. We were catering for 16 to 25-year-olds or 18 to like 30-year-olds.
Yeah.
But with the band stuff, you're catering for 50 plus sometimes.
Yeah.
And it very much is even a selection of beers. We've got like Bristol Beer Factory bringing in like pale ales, IPAs, Guinness, and that sort of stuff. So really, like for that live stuff, we've really catered for the clientele who come to those sort of shows, and also the bands who have been touring for how many years actually have a nice space for them.
Yeah, it's really
and
important.
That room looks incredible. The Marble Factory looks mad.
It's really important because I think like as I can only speak for myself as an artist, like if you go to a venue and it's really nice to be there, like you go there and it's really like homely, warm, it's like everyone's chill, but it's also a nice place to hang out. Like it makes you want to go back. It makes you want to put on a really good show, and it kind of just makes you feel comfortable. And I guess that's the whole point of like artist riders and things like that, and tech riders and things like that, which I think kind of gets lost in the DJ world to a certain extent, which I understand why, 'cause like some of the riders are ridiculous.
You cater for as much as you possibly can. I think like on that front, like my team, I've got that are wicked, and it's all about just making whoever you are, in the sense of if you're warming up, or if you're a headliner, just making them feel welcome. Be like, if they, I had Darwin previously for Yard, and she came in straight from Suit Garden Party. She's like, "Can I brush my teeth?" I've not brushed teeth yet. Just came from a campsite. I was like, "Do you want a shower?" Because I've got showers here. She's like, "Can I?" And it's just making that person welcome. She's like, this is amazing. Thank you so much for doing this. I was like, it's like, that's not a problem at all. Like, you know, you've not slept for however long, you've not actually slept, not showered, of course.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of making everybody feel happy. And like you said, if the artist's happy from the get-go, they're going to play a great set and also want to come back and work with you guys again.
Yeah. Yeah, I always say it's from the top down. And it comes from the people that own the club to then the people that are employed by the club, and then the artists playing the club, and then the customers. And it all comes from the very top of where that kind of chain starts. And if it starts bad, then it's going to end bad, and it's going to be a bad experience for everyone. But if it starts great, it's always going to end up great eventually.
That's what we look at mostly. Every single show we do, you know, regardless if it's a tiny show or massive 4,000 cap show. You know, it's every show is as important as the other, and we try and put as much effort into every single show to make sure it's best for the promoter or the artist or whatever it be. And that's what we've been taught to do in a way. You know, I mean, we've been like, you know, regardless if it's only 800 people. We still need the LED screen on. We still need the lights on. We still need like VJ. We still make it look good for them.
Yeah.
And, you know, to make sure they want to come back afterwards. Because it is, you know, it's not a cheap show to come to. You know, none of our shows are exactly cheap in a way.
No.
You know, especially if you're spending 15 to 25 quid on a ticket. But my idea is they come once, go, I need to come again.
Yeah, yeah.
And with that on hand, you know, you want to make sure the security guards are on point and there's no issues with them on the door, and people are greeted well. Because I think it's, you know, that role is so important, because the first thing you see when you walk to a club, and also last person you see leave the club.
And it's
that's really important.
Honestly, it's one of the first things I've always said about Motion, and from day one of Motion, is that the security guards are always fucking amazing.
They are. You know, we pride ourselves on that quite a lot with just, you know, how important that is to a lot of people. Of, you know, the first people you see is that, and then you go to the bar. You know, the bar's busy. Of course, it's stressful working on the bar when it's 6 deep.
Yeah.
But, you know, just kind of keep high spirits on that as well.
Yeah.
And just try and make sure everybody's sort of
happy.
You know, I would like, just return customers is what we can't try and go for.
Yeah, definitely. Are you guys doing your motion series this winter?
No, so Emotion was a kind of big series we kind of did. But we kind of put it to bed a little bit, like maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Because it was, we were kind of, at one point, it was kind of similar to that Warehouse Project in a way of, oh, we're open for 3 months a year, 4 months a year. We're not.
Yeah.
We're open every weekend of the year. And a lot of people got lost in that. A lot of students, a lot of agents got confused by it. And were like, I want my artist to play for Emotion.
Yeah.
Or a lot of people going, oh, I'm not going, like, I want to go to Emotion.
Yeah.
Not realizing actually we put on the same
Sorry, mate. Sneezing everywhere.
We put on the same high profile shows all year round.
Every weekend.
Every weekend.
Yeah.
So we kind of put it to bed in a way of being like, we don't need this series just to showcase what we've got.
Yeah.
We've got this every weekend. So that's kind of what we've done. And we've kind of, you know, we kind of rebranded quite heavily on sort of art style. And kind of just show people we got it all year round.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Great.
I didn't really think of it like that but it makes so much sense. I think because I know that Motion's open all year round, but like as a normal somebody not from the city or kind of new to the city, just looks okay. Warehouse projects. Obviously, the biggest people that do series, right? That's what we all know what Warehouse Project is. And then when you guys did it, that makes sense. And it makes sense why you don't do it anymore.
Yeah, you know, there was an idea of kind of potentially looking at bringing it back and everything else. But I was a little bit, not so against it. But I was like, come on, you know, we've had 10 years of it now. It was 10 years. It was 10th birthday when we kind of put it to bed a little bit. And I was like, you know, we move on from that and we do bigger and better shows each weekend.
I guess you limit yourself, don't you, as well?
Yeah, it does. Like I said, a lot of agents are like, we want to play for Emotion. We want to play for that. It's like, but why don't you play in January? Because we've still got big shows in January or March or summer. You know what I mean? That's
wild. So, I want to go to, like, I've spoke about it with you personally, but like I speak about it quite a lot on the podcast, but with community, and Bristol's a very community based city, whether it comes to music, food, just people generally,
Yeah.
and areas of different areas of Bristol. There's different communities, and that's what I love about Bristol itself. Um, how do you maintain a community, because your customers go from being 18 to 30-year-olds, let's just say, but people get older and people stop going to clubs, so how do you keep that going?
I think it's just the kind of, I think a lot of people who probably come to motion at the start at 18, 19, whatever it is, I think a lot of students who ever get dragged there with FOMO, and like, if you're going, I'm going. And like I kind of mentioned earlier, it's just trying to lock them into, they want to come back because it is a sick club. Or, I think when people get older, when you're in third year, you have a pretty much sound to what you were in first year.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing, is making sure, you have such a different, diverse lineup and different lineups on all year round. There is something for everybody.
Yeah.
Whether one year you like Minnesota, next year actually you've gone into camel fat, whatever it might be, that's still there for you. And that genre, even if you change your taste, you will find something. Whether even if you've gone to bands or you've gone to hip hop, there's hip hop gigs, there's rock bands, there's whatever it be, jazz bands. There's always something different at the motion. So we hold people because of that, and there's so many different things you go to.
Love that. Yeah, I think also it's like you have such a huge university kind of presence in Bristol itself, with two big universities. Do you guys do anything with the universities, or like do you home in on college kids, or are you literally relying on your marketing to get them over to there?
So this year I've done something a bit different. I think last year was very difficult because it was literally just me in the office.
Yeah.
Just me to literally marketing, logistics, booking, everything pretty much. But this year we've gone, we're doing Fresh Affairs.
Yeah.
Which obviously is a very big thing in Bristol.
Yeah.
We have, 30,000 students coming through. With the UAB and UAE, which are the two sort of universities of Bristol.
So just to bump in, anybody that doesn't know what a Fresher Week is the week when people go to university in the UK. It's like a big 2 week long party, really, and they do loads of like introductions to the cities and a fuck ton of pies. Sorry, carry on.
Loads of parties, and we've got. I was looking at a diary today actually, and I've got I think like 9 shows in 7 days.
Oh shit!
Over Freshers Week.
When's Freshers Week?
It is started on the 21st of September, I believe.
So I actually think that's when this podcast is coming out.
Okay, well,
20th. So we're in Freshers Week. We're balls deep in Freshers Week right now.
So I'm 4 days in.
You definitely wouldn't be doing this during Freshers Week, mate.
No, definitely not. So we've got a lot of shows. We're hitting the Freshers Fairs, which again, if you don't know what that is, it's basically a massive hall of different companies who kind of show what they've got, really. Like Domino's would be there, or different clubs would be there, or different companies just showing, pretty much anyway, giving free shit away.
Yeah, I love that you picked Domino's.
Well,
it goes to show what you eat every weekend.
No. Because they always get really good reviews because they just give free pizzas away.
Oh, do they?
Like, yeah. So that's what it is.
Do you know Domino's is from Detroit?
Is it actually?
Yeah, it's from Michigan. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Most of the big...
tell us what you eat quite often as well. Then, yeah.
Pizza all the time. A lot of the big pizza companies are from Michigan, which is really random.
That is.
Yeah.
That.
Little Caesars, Papa John's. We've got Papa John's in the UK. That's from...
Yeah, of course.
That's from Detroit. It's mad.
Did not know that.
Not just techno and cars, all right? We've got pizza.
Not Motor City anymore. Pizza City.
To be fair, it's definitely not Motor City anymore. What shows have you got on during Freshers Week? That's a lot of parties.
It's a lot of parties. A lot of them are wristbanded student parties. So they're sold by the university.
Yeah.
And if you're a fresher, you get a wristband, you buy a wristband. And it's kind of just an introduction to going out. Like you kind of mentioned, you go to whatever clubs are in Bristol, Motion being one of them. And that's where we kind of like try and home in quite heavily on the students. Of them coming and go, this is incredible. What's on? You know what I mean? And that Freshers Fair, we would give it away. There's calendar, and loads of merch and stuff as well. So people can look at it and go, come away with it and go, I'll go to this, I'll go to that. And, a lot of people still lot of my old friends who went to university probably like 5 years ago still got those posters now.
That's so cool.
You know, those pull out A2 poster
Yeah.
of all the shows. You know what I mean?
It's so cool
So it's kind of,
because I feel like we've gone into like over the last like 5 years, in like maybe 10 years, even in like the more digital realm, where posters and flyers kind of got lost. Same with artwork in music. Like artwork kind of got lost in it because no one's doing physical copies of it. But finding old posters is the best thing.
I've still got quite a lot in my from my 10 years, like 9-10 years ago at the club. You know what I mean? I remember I still got like a signed Public Enemy one.
No way.
And they played Emotion, yeah. But I feel like it's back.
Yeah.
But I don't say it's back, but it's something I'm definitely leaning heavily on. Is, you know, it's especially because online's not so much tough, but you don't really know where to go with it sometimes. Like if you actually get an interaction with it. So this year, this quarter anyway, I'm going really heavy with sort of fly postering, billboards, and just going really mad with it. Just getting it all around the city, and just not even so much. I'm not leaning on A to Z of who's at the club. I'm more leaning on pictures of the club, pictures of people who go to the club, and being like. So a lot of students go, I look at that, I go to Motion, or that club looks sick, I want to go there. That sort of way, more than just a lineup.
No, I think that's really cool actually, because you're building the Motion brand rather than the DJs that are playing, which coming from a DJ point of view, I'd be like, nah, fuck you should be promoting us. But realistically, coming from the business point of view of longevity of a venue and how to kind of attract more people, it's like, nah, that's cool as fuck. It's really cool.
I think for me, the venue looks beautiful as well. You know, inside that main room's incredible. You know, the function one, res 9s.
Yeah.
No one else has them. Like literally they don't. So it's such a beautiful looking building inside. And so I'm leaning massively on that and trying to, you know, make people notice it and go, this looks incredible. I want to go to this place. And again, we've kind of I've done like a massive commercial or promo for Q4. We've kind of followed students around.
Yeah.
And it's very much like them getting ready to go out, going to DJ in their bedroom, going to the pub, and then getting to Motion.
Yeah.
So I'll have loads of images of people getting ready to go out and party and have them around the city as well. So people will kind of see them and go, I'd dress like that. Or I'm that age, I could go to Motion, and open the doors down a little bit more that way, opposed to September to January listings, which is just words and looks great for me because I helped design the whole entire thing.
Yeah.
But to a passerby who has 2 seconds to look at it, doesn't even look at it.
When also it just looks like everything else we're being sold, right? And I think with what you're talking about digital, to kind of expand on that, is that it's just so flooded. It's so like there's nothing personal about anything now. It's all like in your face, buy this, buy that. Especially with ads, it's like, you know, when you're getting an ad, it doesn't, nothing feels organic. And I think that's why at the beginning of social media, why ads worked so well, because it felt personal.
Yeah.
And now I think it's kind of gone away from that. Like,
it really is. I think it is that kind of positive touch. I remember when I kind of, not sort of came the idea, but like thought about doing something different than just the listings. Is that my girlfriend Sophie, she did a poster run with a Blame Gloria, who's a cocktail bar in Bristol. And it was just a picture and just a Blame Gloria. And it looked so good compared to everything else next to it. Because everything else next to it was listings. And I was like, no one's looking at these listings. Everyone's looking at these just as bold colours in front of you. And I was like, it just popped out and just looks so much better.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where the idea kind of came from. Just doing something different. The amount of times I look at poster boards when I go past them because I'm interested in them. But if you're not that interested in them, you need something that does just come out to you and make it a bit more personal, I guess.
It always amazed me going to New York because there's huge like poster boards all around like the construction sites and everything like that. And that's the one thing that I've always noticed, is that a really nice album cover or like a fashion like Gucci or Louis Vuitton or something like that, they always have amazing branding artwork, and it's not to sell anything.
Yeah.
It's literally to just show the brand. And I think maybe like, yes, like you're trying to, Motion isn't a club that's, it's more than a club. To me, it is personally, and I think it is to you, and I think it is to a lot of people. It's more than a club. It's an institution, and by creating the brand of Motion bigger, it benefits everybody in the long term.
I think that's what we've kind of trying to do with it. Like from the first quarter was very much the art style we went for. But very much like each time we put something out, people can slightly notice the motion straight away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like have a kind of similar-ish each time. So people go, oh, that's like motion straight away.
Yeah.
Same as like what Where Else would do. Being like, oh, I know that's Where's Project. I know that's Fabric Life. You know straight away. And that's what we try to copy. We try not copy, but try and replicate that and make it motion branded.
Which I think is like,
make it more important.
It's the most, you have to do it nowadays as well. I think it's to have longevity. This isn't like, and I don't even want to compare it to Warehouse Project or Fabric Live or any of that, because I think it's, you sit in your own lane and you do something different to all of them. But I think if you look at all the cool current brands, not even in music, like outside of music, in fashion, in food, they're all creating something that's aesthetically looks amazing.
Definitely. I'm with you on that 100%.
And I think like on a business side of it, you create so many more opportunities for you to grow as a business outside of the music realm. And like if you're creating a brand, like if you've got a really fucking cool picture of the club, like put it on a t-shirt and sell it. Like,
yeah, I'm working on it, don't worry.
Yeah, and like, but you can do so much with that, and like then your minimum spend of 15 quid comes to like 45 quid because somebody's buying a t-shirt as well.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what we're working on. It's always this new sort of ideas and levels, like you said, with the merch sort of side of it as well. It's just turning it into more than just a club, I guess, as well. And it's like you said, it's where people really want to fucking go. And actually look at it and go, I just want to check this place out.
Yeah. And
have a line of cool things alongside it, which people want to buy and want to check out.
Yeah. No, I love it, man. What have you got coming up in the next quarter?
So a lot of it's quite under wraps at the minute.
Fuck's sake.
But by this comes out, a lot of it might be out by now.
Yeah, this is coming out. I believe this is coming out on the 20th. Okay. Yeah, definitely coming out on the 20th.
Okay, so at that point, I should hopefully have everything out by then.
Cool.
So this quarter is usually a big one for us, with students. Yeah. Big time for this quarter for that. So a lot of stuff. I've got patch topping coming up.
Yeah.
Which is a good one. Obviously heavily running by drum and bass as well, which is obviously always works. I've got a Yuma Vicker show, which is very, very cool. I love that chap. He's so much fun to hang around with. I'm working on an MK show at the moment.
Amazing.
And Hess Audio. Hess Audio is kind of show that will work really around Bristol, which would be sick. Looking forward to that one. That's so like the artwork for that one I'm really happy with. So I'm working quite closely with a designer who does all the artwork for me. But it's I kind of give him some ideas and brief him, and he kind of creates it from my imagination.
That's cool.
And he's really smashed it with that one, which I'm really I'm looking forward to everyone to see that one for sure.
There's nothing better than a good flyer. Nothing.
Yeah.
I know we just ranted about it, but it's so good.
But no, that one will go on a billboard.
Yeah.
Instead of a picture of the club, this would be the picture of the Hess Audio show.
Yeah. I like
100%.
Why does drum and bass do so well in Bristol?
It's the home, isn't it, really? I think it's kind of the home of drum and bass. I think when people think of Bristol, they think of bass music for sure.
Yeah.
And it's always just been so strong here.
It's mad, isn't it?
I think even when I started working at the club, going back 10 years now, it was the height of, at the time, like dubstep. I remember that my first ever show working actually was quite funny. I must have been like 17 at the time. I remember the stock room was under, we used to call it the 7 foot, because it's a 7 foot drop in. And I remember going to get some water, and Benga popped his head in and was like, "You got a bottle of water for me?" I was like, "Of course, Benga." And it's that sort of sound's always kind of stayed in Bristol, I feel, and it's always, you know, with absolute legends from Bristol who still pioneered that sound.
Yeah, it's amazing how it's kept though, because obviously drum and bass is still massive in the UK, well, worldwide.
Yeah, 100%.
They have their own niches, but it's amazing how it's like stayed so relevant in Bristol. It's almost like part of, like, if you don't go to, if you live in Bristol, you have to like drum and bass, and if you don't, you're not allowed there. You're not allowed past the gates of Bristol.
But it is. I think it's just like the, you know, the bass sound or even like the dub sound in Bristol, which is such a strong root, I guess, Bristol, especially like St. Paul's sounding.
I was going to say there's such a huge Jamaican, there's such a huge Jamaican population, which kind of brings the dub culture to Bristol, which is amazing, and the food that comes with it. And just, I love Bristol, man. Would you ever leave?
Well, I would like to.
Yeah, where would you want to go?
Point. I don't know. I like to explore a bit around. Really, I think London would be sick to check out.
Yeah.
You know, I go to London now and again, but I just love being there.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a lovely place to be.
Do you? What's the goals for you in life and in career?
To be honest, I'm not really too sure.
Yeah.
Which isn't a great thing to have, but I'm enjoying what I'm doing now. I love being able to do what I can do.
Yeah.
You know, I have a great team behind me, and my director kind of gives me free reign, which is quite mad. To be like, you're 28, just do what you want in a way, you know, program what you want, and you kind of trust me, the team trusts me to make sure whatever I put together is usually okay.
Yeah.
Which is really good. But yeah, I don't know really. I think I would like to stay. I want to stay within the music industry 100%, whatever I move on to. But yeah, whether it's going into like actually working with a brand or whatever it be. But you know, we've got some big things planned for Motion next couple of years. You know, outside of Motion on the sort of bigger scales, which are kind of working in the back of the scenes, which I can't probably give too much away. But yeah, some bigger stuff with like a sister venue, which we're rebranding, and then some of the bits we're working on as well. So that's definitely exciting for the next couple of years.
Yeah, it's mad if you think about it, because we're like, you're still young. Like, I don't want to sound condescending, but like 28 and running the #1 club in England is pretty special, or booking.
It's quite surreal sometimes. It really is. I kind of, it is kind of one of those things. I remember when I was previous to what I was doing now, obviously I was bar managing Motion at like 21. And I was like, how am I bar managing this place at 21? It was quite surreal. I was like, what the fuck?
You were the only fucking who would do it, mate.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. Last one left.
Yeah, no, it's cool, man, and it's really nice to see, because I'm pretty sure we met right at the beginning. Yeah. Like, we would have. Yeah.
We would have, 100%. I think when you're probably doing like Cut a Rug or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. Fucking Cut a Rug. That was so long ago.
Yeah, how long was that?
Well, that was when Ross was booking.
Okay, yes. So I worked with Ross really well.
Yeah.
Quite a funny one with Ross, actually. It was like, Ross obviously was running the show at the time.
Yeah.
And I remember it really well. It was like 2013. It was Eats Everything Essential Mix. I remember at the time I was like a runner at the club. So I was just doing all this shit stuff. You know, picking up sick off sofas, stocking bars, all that kind of stuff. And I remember Eats is playing Keep Control, Sonos remix that he has. And I was on the radio. Ross was just like, run to the front door. I won't go anywhere. That Essential Mix was incredible.
Just staying.
I still listen to that Essential Mix now. Like, it's so good.
That was iconic.
But yeah, worked with Ross for a long time, and he's a wicked guy.
Eats is so good though, right? Like, he's as a Bristol, like, I'm not from Bristol. Like, I say I'm from Bristol because it's easy to say from where I'm actually from, because no one has a Cheddar. But I'm not even from there. I don't even live in Cheddar. So it's like even harder. Like, if I say where I'm from, no one fucking knows. So it's just easier to say Bristol. And like, I've always been in and around Bristol, but I've never said that I'm truly part of the Bristol culture, if you know what I mean. I think that would be that would be wrong for me to say. I was never part of the Bristol crew. Like, I threw parties in Bristol, I've DJ'd in Bristol, but Eats is Bristol. Eats is literally...
He's wicked. So even from the days when I didn't really know him at all.
Yeah.
the days now where I work for radio management for a couple of years as well. Who was at the time looking after the Eats, and now just seeing him is just it's such a lovely sight to see. With me kind of growing up with him a little bit, which is quite weird to say.
No, definitely.
But with like him like bringing in Ralph, his son, into the office as a literal baby, in a cot. So now, like, you mean. So yeah, it's nice to see that he still stay Bristol, and I still get the "or you cunt" from across the road if I see him.
I love it. He's the best. He's the best. I think that's a nice thing about Bristol as well. Like, and it goes back into that community thing. Bristol's a big city. I think it's 500,000, 450,000, but it's still so fucking small.
It is. It's one of those things that once you're in the kind of, I suppose, scene, should we say, is everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad thing. You kind of go out and you go to wherever you go. You go to Ludby, you go to Crofters, wherever it might be, or you just go to a pub. Yeah. And you're more likely, or walk up Six Croft.
Yeah.
You're more likely going to wave out to someone you know.
Yeah.
Or you at least have a loose connection with, who's kind of in the same sort of scene as you, which I think is quite a unique thing to have in a city. It's
really nice. It's a really nice thing to have. Like, even where I grow up, it's very much like that. It's like small village kind of vibes. It's the minute you walk down the street, you know somebody. And it's really nice to have that in Bristol as well, where like you're just always bump into somebody that you know if you're in the scene. It's really.
But it's always like people you only see them when you're out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is kind of nice. You catch up with when you're out, catching up. Then you see each other on the road. You evolve these friendships by just going out and catching up in a bar.
Yeah.
You didn't plan to meet each other, but you end up chatting to this person for ages, and then you end up becoming friends, and then you become really good friends. And that's how a lot of friendships I've got in Bristol have kind of started and evolved to a level of actually being really good mates now.
Yeah, totally.
I've kind of just seen each other out once or twice, and then you see each other again and again and again, and you end up going, "Do you want to go pint? Yeah, okay, let's go for a drink."
Yeah.
And it kind of, that friendship kind of starts from that.
It's really, it's really important, and I don't think you necessarily get that in the bigger cities. There's something about Bristol that just has this like vibe that is just different. I don't know. I could be biased. But it's
well, yeah, maybe I'm as well potentially. But I think for me, it's very much kind of, even as not so much rival promoters, but like Lakota, who is on par with Motion, that sort of capacity. I'm really good friends with the booker there, Mike, and we chat about Derrick, what he's got on, what I've got on. So there isn't any major clashes,
which is nice.
It's only going to benefit both of us.
This is the thing with this industry that with life, I think, that I really struggle with, which if I ask myself, like at the beginning of my career, I probably would give you a different answer. But I think now is like very much about, there's space for everybody in the market in life. Like that doesn't, and I think we spoke about it when we had lunch. But there's like space for everyone. You can do what the fuck you want, and you can. Yeah. There's always a booking. There's always somebody else. There's always somebody that's going to sell tickets. There's always somebody that can do whatever they're doing, and there's space. And I think once you accept that and you look at everybody around you as somebody that can probably just help you, and
I think it
makes it so much easier.
I think that's really important, especially in Bristol being relatively small city compared to London or Manchester, with Liverpool ever close to it. It's only beneficial for both of us to work in tandem together enough to be like, I've got this show on, what you got on? I've got Direct Clash, maybe we should do this. You know what I mean? And just kind of work together a little bit, because last thing I want is both our clubs to be half empty, or half full. You know what I mean? Like it's only in the best interest to make sure we're working together to make sure that spread is across both our venues, or other venues around us.
Yeah, and also it's
I have a lot of like small promoters messaging me going, "What you got on this date?" Because I've got something lined up.
Yeah,
and I don't want you to take over everything.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
Well, I think also, like, let's be honest, Motion's the biggest venue in the city and the most prominent brand wise, and probably will be for it until you guys do something else. So I think it's nice that you can still have that relationship with smaller promoters, because realistically, at the end of the day, you want the smaller promoters to get big, and then you can use them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Maybe.
Let's be honest.
But I know what you mean. But yeah, it's the thing about us. Like, we are still independent, and if we weren't independent, if we were, some other big promoter, they won't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Because we are independent, and I started throwing tiny parties when I was 18, 19. As well. And it's kind of having that, like, you are right with the sense of, like, if you see a brand
Pop it
blow up
off.
massively,
Yeah.
and they want to do a show, bring it to motion.
Which is that's the thing, is everyone helps everybody out, and then that comes back to the community thing. And it's not me sounding like a dick. It's like, it's the facts. Like, let's use Just Jack for example. Like, Just Jack started as a cool brand, and Motion took it on and turned it into a beast, and in a positive way. And there's been so many little brands that you guys have kind of worked with over the years that have created a passion project into a full-time project, and then sometimes turned into huge things.
Well, yeah, it's like a lot of time we kind of let people use our kind of venue as like a flagship.
Yeah.
So, you know, have that south, you know, in the southwest, there isn't really much.
No.
In a way of this mecca club, you know what I mean? You know, London's got 32 boroughs, whatever it be. You know, that's fucking huge.
Yeah.
But Bristol is not, you know. And the only thing we've got around us is, you know, Cardiff and Bath and Swindon and Cork and Plymouth. So, you know, if you're able to do well here and pull all these crowds in, you can blow up and start doing a festival.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Soul, for example, you know, we've worked with those guys for years and years and years, and now they're running a festival.
Yeah, yeah. No, totally, man.
Or even just look back to like Love Says a Day. You know, that started with, you know, Team Love, Tom Payne, bringing Future Boogie, Just Jack, The Blast into a festival, and it's built into this massive beast now as well.
And now it's one of the biggest festivals, well, not biggest number-wise, but one of the biggest kind of festivals on the market at that time, and everyone wants to play
100%.
it. Yeah, it's
but the good thing about that is kind of growing that kind of history of it as well. I think right now that's really strong.
Yeah,
of having a history and a story. I think it's quite tough to start something new and sell it without kind of a story behind it.
Well, I think that's what's happened so much in the last like 5 years. Obviously, take COVID out, but I think there's been it's not easy to throw a festival. It's fucking hard,
not.
But it's easy for a company to have a bunch of money and want to throw a festival and not necessarily curate something that's actually organic.
You know, I'm sure you have as well. But if you look across all the festivals in the UK at the minute, you know, they're pretty similar. You know what I mean? And it is, and you know, it's obviously different areas, different boroughs, whatever it might be. But you know, at the end of the day, every artist has been playing every festival.
Yeah.
And it's not really that interesting. Okay, if you're in Manchester and you want to go to a festival in Manchester, you go down instead of down in London.
Yeah.
But you know, they are kind of all the same. Whereas like Love Stage kind of has its own kind of history and their own stage hosts, which are still like Just Jack or Future Boogie or whatever it be, to have that kind of history and that kind of pouring power to be like, actually, we are community.
Yeah. Something about Southwest though, I think. Because look at Glastonbury.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly that.
Maybe we're just the best. Are you even from the Southwest?
Yeah, I'm born and bred Bristol.
You are? I was going to say, like...
Yeah.
I can tell from your accent, but I didn't know if the accent was just, like, taken on.
No, I am. I was born here. Yeah. Yes.
We're just super biased.
Yeah, maybe we are. Yeah, maybe we are.
Mate, we've just done, like, an hour and 20 minutes.
Amazing.
Thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure to sit down with you, and I think this will help a lot of people out. How can people reach out to you? How can people find out what's going on at Motion, etc., etc.?
Check out www.motion-bristol.com. Everything's going to be there. Same again for any Instagrams, Motion Bristol. Obviously, Mobile Factory as well as our kind of sister live venue if you're into anything like that. But yeah, you just check it out. If you're in Southwest, just check it out. If you're anywhere, come along, and look forward to seeing you on Q4.
Legend, man. Thanks so much for coming on.
And look forward to see you too, Will.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. When I'm back, let's go for lunch. Let's go for dinner. Do something.
Yes, 100%.
Cool.
Let's do it.
Big love, mate. See you soon.
Thank you, mate. Take care.
Bye. And that is amazing. I love that one. It's really, really interesting. Hope you enjoyed it as well. Keep safe. See you next time.